Our planet, this remarkable sphere of blue and green, is a place of breathtaking beauty, of serene landscapes and delicate life. But it is also a world of immense, untamed power, a power that, for the most part, lies dormant beneath our feet and in the quiet skies above. We go about our lives, often forgetting the colossal forces that shape the very ground we walk upon. But every now and then the Earth reminds us of its true nature, its raw, unpredictable, and often terrifying strength. It is a spectacle that commands both awe and profound respect. These are the craziest nature videos from the past 10 years. In these moments, captured by the fortunate and the brave, we are given a glimpse into the planet's dramatic heart. We witness events that unfold on a scale so grand it defies our everyday comprehension. From the shattering of ancient ice to the fury of a sky torn asunder, these are not mere weather events. They are profound expressions of the Earth's dynamic, ever-changing character. They serve as a stark and humbling reminder that we are but visitors in a world governed by forces far greater than ourselves. So, prepare yourself. Find a comfortable position. Hold on, don't move. We're about to embark on a journey through a decade of nature's most astonishing and formidable displays. What you're about to see is a testament to the planet's restless energy, a raw and unfiltered look at the moments when the Earth itself decided to put on a show. These are the moments that leave us speechless, the moments that redefine our understanding of the world we thought we knew. We begin our journey in the frozen landscapes of Iceland, a land forged by fire and ice. Here, glaciers, colossal rivers of ice, have sculpted the terrain for millennia. They are monuments of time, moving with an imperceptible slowness, their sheer scale a testament to the enduring power of cold. Tourists flock from across the globe to witness these frozen giants, to stand in their presence and feel the profound chill of deep time. They come equipped with cameras, hoping to capture a sliver of this icy majesty, a memory of the stark, silent beauty of the Arctic. On this particular day, a group of visitors on a boat tour found themselves closer to the action than they could have ever anticipated. They were observing the Breidmerkurjökull glacier, its vast, jagged face rising from the glacial lagoon like a crystalline cliff. The air was still, the water a placid mirror reflecting the immense wall of blue and white ice. There was a sense of profound peace, the kind of quiet that only exists in the world's most remote corners. But this tranquility was about to be irrevocably shattered in the most spectacular fashion imaginable. Without warning, a deep, guttural groan echoed across the water, a sound that seemed to emanate from the very core of the glacier. Cracks like lightning bolts shot across its face. Then, with a deafening roar that drowned out all human sound, a monumental slab of ice the size of a multi-story building began to peel away. It seemed to hang in the air for an impossible moment, a titan of frozen water defying gravity before it succumbed and plunged into the lagoon below with cataclysmic force. The impact was immediate and violent. It displaced a tremendous volume of water, creating a wave that surged outwards, a miniature tsunami racing towards the small tourist vessel. The boat, once floating on a calm lake, was suddenly tossed about on a turbulent sea of its own making. For those aboard, it was a moment of pure, unadulterated terror mixed with a sense of profound awe. They had come to witness the glacier, but they had not expected the glacier to put on such a powerful and dangerous performance, a raw display of carving that reminded them just how active and dynamic these ancient ice formations truly are. We now travel to the vast, sparsely populated coastline of Greenland in the year 2017. Here, in the remote village of Nuugaatsiaq, life unfolds at a rhythm dictated by the seasons and the sea. The community, nestled in a fjord, lives in close communion with nature, accustomed to its harshness and its beauty. The dramatic cliffs and the deep, cold waters are not just a backdrop, they are the very fabric of existence. But the Earth's geology is a complex and often unstable thing, and the forces at play are not always visible on the surface. Deep within the Karat Fjord, a catastrophic event was unfolding, unseen by human eyes. A massive section of a mountainside, destabilized over time, finally gave way. An immense volume of rock and earth, a landslide of staggering proportions, plunged into the waters of the fjord. This sudden, violent displacement of water is the genesis of one of nature's most feared phenomena, a tsunami. It wasn't born from a distant earthquake in the ocean's depths, but from the very land that cradled the community. A wave of terrifying potential began its silent, rapid journey across the fjord. The footage captured from the shoreline is chilling. At first, it appears as though the tide is simply receding at an unnatural speed, drawing the water out from the harbor and exposing the seabed in a sinister prelude. Then, on the horizon, a line appears. It is not a normal wave cresting and breaking with rhythmic grace. It is a wall of water, a churning, relentless surge that consumes the entire width of the fjord. It moves with an unnerving speed, a silent, menacing advance that speaks of immense power. As the tsunami strikes Nugatsiak, the sheer force is devastating. The water surges over the land, not as a breaking wave, but as a rapid and unstoppable flood. It lifts buildings from their foundations, tossing fishing boats like toys and inundating the entire village in a matter of seconds. The chaos is absolute. The event served as a tragic reminder that the greatest dangers can come from the most unexpected places, and that even the most solid-seeming land can unleash the fury of the ocean upon those who live by its shores. The open ocean is a realm of its own, a vast wilderness where human endeavors are dwarfed by the scale of the elements. In 2020, a cruise ship, a veritable floating city designed for comfort and leisure, was making its way towards Ireland. It was traversing the North Atlantic, an ocean notorious for its tempestuous moods and formidable storms. Passengers aboard were likely anticipating the rolling green hills of their destination, enjoying the amenities of their vessel, largely insulated from the world outside their portholes. However, the Atlantic had other plans. A powerful storm system had churned the ocean into a state of fury. The ship, despite its immense size and state-of-the-art stabilizers, found itself at the mercy of some truly heavy waves. These were not the gentle swells of a calm sea. These were monstrous walls of water, liquid mountains rising and falling with a terrifying rhythm. The sky was a leaden grey, indistinguishable from the churning, frothing sea, creating a disorienting and menacing environment. From the bridge of the ship, the view was apocalyptic. The bow of the vessel, hundreds of feet long, would climb the face of an oncoming wave, pointing towards the angry sky at an alarming angle. For a heart-stopping moment, the ship would hang there, suspended between the sea and the heavens, before plunging down into the trough on the other side. As it descended, the bow would disappear completely beneath the waves, buried under tons of green and white water that would then cascade over the decks. The sheer power on display is difficult to comprehend. Each wave that struck the ship did so with the force of a physical collision, sending shudders through the vessel's entire steel frame. Water crashed against the windows of the bridge, momentarily obscuring the view of the maelstrom outside. For the crew and any passengers able to witness the scene, it was a visceral confrontation with the raw, untamable power of the ocean. It was a humbling experience, proving that no matter how advanced our engineering, we are merely guests in nature's domain, and sometimes the host can be very, very inhospitable. Switzerland, a country renowned for its pristine alpine beauty, its idyllic villages, nestled in verdant valleys beneath majestic peaks. It is a landscape that, really speaks of stability and permanence. But the mountains, for all their stoic grandeur, are in a constant state of slow, inexorable change, shaped by water, ice, and gravity. In 2018, near the village of Grunier, this process of change accelerated into a terrifying and fast-moving catastrophe. Heavy rainfall had saturated the soil on the slopes high above the valley. The water acted as a lubricant, reducing the friction that held the earth, rock, and debris in place. A critical point was reached, and a section of the mountainside gave way. It did not simply crumble, it liquefied. What began as a landslide rapidly transformed into a debris flow, a fast-moving slurry of mud, rock, and uprooted trees, funneling down a natural channel in the mountainside. The footage captured from a safe distance is both mesmerizing and horrifying. It doesn't look like a slide, it looks like a river, a thick, viscous grey river flowing where no river should be. It moves with a relentless momentum, a churning mass of destruction. Large boulders tossed around like corks are visible on its surface, and the sound is a deep, grinding roar, the sound of the mountain itself being torn apart and carried away. The flow follows the path of least resistance, a terrifying, inexorable force. As the mudslide reaches the lower slopes and approaches infrastructure, its destructive power becomes starkly apparent. It surges across roads and through fields, a tide of earth that consumes everything in its path. It is a powerful illustration of how a delicate balance in nature can be tipped by a single element, in this case, water. The very thing that gives life to the lush valleys can also become the agent of their temporary destruction, unleashing a force that reshapes the landscape in a matter of minutes. Driving along a mountain road is an experience that blends engineering with the raw beauty of nature. We travel on ribbons of asphalt carved into the sides of colossal rock formations, often taking for granted the stability of the very cliffs we drive beneath. In 2023, on a road in China, one driver was given a sudden and terrifying reminder of the inherent instability of these environments. The journey was routine, the day unremarkable, until the mountain decided to shed a piece of itself. The driver was navigating a winding road with a sheer rock face rising on one side. This is a common sight in mountainous regions, a necessary compromise to build transport links through challenging terrain. But rock faces are not static. They are subject to weathering, to the freeze-thaw cycle that creates cracks, and to the constant, patient pull of gravity. Unseen, high above the road, a section of rock had become critically unstable. The dashcam footage is a study in sudden, heart-stopping chaos. One moment, the car is driving along normally. The next, without any warning, the world erupts. A cascade of rocks, ranging from the size of pebbles to massive car-crushing boulders, begins to rain down from the cliff face directly in front of the vehicle. Dust and debris fill the air, and the sound is a frightening clatter and boom as tons of rock impact the asphalt just feet away. The driver's reaction is instantaneous, a primal instinct to survive. The brakes are slammed and the car skids to a halt mere inches from where a boulder the size of a small vehicle has just obliterated the road. It is a moment of pure, terrifying luck. A few seconds earlier, and the outcome would have been tragic. The event is a stark illustration of the hidden dangers that lie in wait within seemingly peaceful landscapes. It shows how quickly a normal day can turn into a life-or-death encounter, all due to the simple, inexorable law of gravity acting on ancient stone. We journey now to Papua New Guinea, part of the Pacific Ring of Fire, a region of intense geological activity where the Earth's tectonic plates jostle and collide. Here, volcanoes are not ancient relics, but active and often violent participants in the shaping of the land. In 2014, Mount Tavavur, a volcano with a history of powerful eruptions, awoke from a period of relative quiet with an explosive and visually stunning display of power. The moments leading up to the eruption were filled with a tense anticipation. The volcano had been rumbling, venting steam and ash, signaling that pressure was building deep within its magmatic heart. Onlookers from a safe distance across the water had their cameras trained on the peak, waiting for the inevitable climax. The air was thick with the smell of sulfur, and a sense of immense contained energy seemed to vibrate through the ground itself. Then it happened. With a deafening boom that traveled for miles, the volcano exploded. A colossal column of ash, smoke, and superheated gas was blasted vertically into the atmosphere with incredible force. It was a primal, visceral event, the planet itself violently clearing its throat. But the most astonishing part of the spectacle was yet to come. The explosion was so powerful that it generated a shockwave, a visible ring of compressed air that expanded outwards from the volcano in all directions. This atmospheric shockwave traveled across the surface of the water at incredible speed. It was a perfect, ethereal circle, a ripple in the very fabric of the sky, expanding like the blast from a colossal bomb. As it passed over the boats of the observers, it was accompanied by a second, delayed sonic boom, a physical jolt that shook them to their core. The footage captures a rare and awe-inspiring phenomenon, the visible breath of a volcano, a testament to the sheer explosive energy that can be unleashed from deep within the Earth's crust. On the 30th of November 2018, the residents of Anchorage, Alaska, were reminded of the precarious ground on which their city is built. Alaska is a land of immense tectonic activity, situated where the Pacific Plate grinds beneath the North American plate. Earthquakes are just a fact of life here, but, that familiarity does not really diminish the terror when a major tremor strikes. At 8:29 in the morning, a powerful 7.0 magnitude earthquake hit, with its epicenter just a few miles north of the state's most populous city. For those experiencing it, the world transformed into a violent, unpredictable nightmare. The ground, honestly the most stable and reliable element in our lives, began to heave and shake violently. Indoors, shelves emptied their contents, furniture danced across floors, and the very structure of buildings groaned and swayed under the immense stress. The sound was a terrifying roar, a combination of the earth's groaning and the cacophony of a city being violently shaken apart. The footage captured from various sources, including security cameras and dash cams, really reveals the extent of the chaos. In one particularly dramatic clip, a road, a solid stretch of asphalt, is seen liquefying and collapsing during the shaking. A car is left stranded on a newly formed island of pavement, surrounded by a chasm of buckled road and failed earth. It is a graphic illustration of the process of liquefaction, where saturated soil loses its strength and behaves like a liquid during an earthquake. The shaking lasted for what must have felt like an eternity, a prolonged period of intense, violent motion. It was a stark reminder of the immense power stored in the Earth's crust, power that can be released in an instant, with devastating consequences. While the city's building codes helped prevent a catastrophic loss of life, the event left deep scars, not just on the infrastructure, but on the psyche of those who lived through it. A visceral memory of the moment the solid ground beneath their feet completely gave way. Volcanoes are one of nature's most dramatic spectacles, but when their raw power combines with atmospheric phenomena, the result can be something truly otherworldly. In Indonesia, another nation situated on the volatile Ring of Fire, an erupting volcano provided the backdrop for one of the most electrifying displays imaginable. As the volcano spewed a dense plume of ash and rock particles into the air, it created the perfect conditions for a rare and fascinating event, a volcanic lightning storm. This is not ordinary lightning. A volcanic plume is a turbulent, chaotic environment thick with rock fragments, ash and ice particles. As these particles are violently ejected from the volcano and swirl around in the plume, they collide with one another. This friction generates immense amounts of static electricity, much like shuffling your feet on a carpet, but on a gargantuan and terrifyingly energetic scale. The plume becomes electrically charged, separating into areas of positive and negative charge. The atmosphere cannot sustain this immense electrical imbalance. The result is a spectacular discharge of electricity, but instead of occurring between a cloud and the ground, it happens within the ash cloud itself. The footage is surreal, looking like something from a science fiction film. The dark, menacing column of volcanic ash is illuminated from within by brilliant, frenetic flashes of lightning. The bolts spiderweb through the plume, creating a celestial light show against the darkest of canvases. This phenomenon, sometimes called a dirty thunderstorm, is a powerful demonstration of physics at its most extreme. It is the raw geological power of the eruption creating the conditions for an intense atmospheric event. To witness it is to see two of nature's most formidable forces, volcanism and electricity, combined into a single, breathtaking spectacle. It is a vision of a world being forged, a chaotic and beautiful display of the planet's creative and destructive energies intertwined. We move to the heartland of America, to the wide-open plains of Nebraska. This region, part of the area known as Tornado Alley, is a battleground for weather systems. Here, warm, moist air from the Gulf of Mexico collides with cool, dry air from the Rockies, creating the atmospheric instability that is the breeding ground for the planet's most violent storms. Earlier this year, this volatile mix produced a series of particularly powerful and destructive tornadoes. The formation of a tornado is a process of awe-inspiring power. It begins with a supercell thunderstorm, a massive rotating storm system that can tower miles into the atmosphere. As the rotation within this storm intensifies and tightens, a funnel cloud may descend from the base of the storm. The air is charged with a strange greenish light, and a low rumble grows into the deafening roar of a freight train, a sound that signals imminent danger. The footage captured by storm chasers and residents is terrifyingly intimate. We see not just one, but multiple tornadoes churning across the landscape. They are vast, dark wedges and slender winding ropes, dancing with a terrifying grace. They move across the open fields, their bases scouring the earth, kicking up soil and debris, making their connection with the ground terrifyingly visible. The sheer scale is immense, dwarfing trees, barns and houses that lie in their path. As a tornado tears through a populated area, its destructive force is laid bare. Roofs are peeled from houses as if they were can lids. Walls are obliterated, and entire structures are reduced to splinters in a matter of seconds. The videos show a world thrown into complete chaos, a maelstrom of wind and debris. It is a humbling and frightening look at the power of wind when it is concentrated into a rotating vortex of unimaginable velocity, a stark reminder of the vulnerability of our creations in the face of nature's most violent outbursts. Our final stop takes us to a place synonymous with sunshine and warmth, Southern California. It is a region where snow is something seen on distant mountain peaks, a novelty rarely experienced at lower elevations. However, in 2019, a highly unusual confluence of weather systems brought about a meteorological event so rare it seemed to belong to another climate altogether. A powerful winter storm, plunging further south than usual, brought freezing temperatures and precipitation to areas that almost never see it. For residents in places like the suburbs of Los Angeles and surrounding valleys, the sight was bewildering. The familiar palm trees and desert flora were suddenly dusted with a layer of white. Snow began to fall, not as a light flurry, but with a surprising intensity, blanketing landscapes that are accustomed to sun and mild winters. It was a moment of collective wonder and disbelief, as a classic winter scene played out in a most unlikely setting. But the anomaly did not end with the snow. The storm was powerful and unstable, possessing the characteristics of a thunderstorm. This led to an even rarer phenomenon, thundersnow. As the snow fell, the sky was lit up by flashes of lightning, followed by the muffled, deep rumble of thunder. This occurs when the upward motion in a winter storm is strong enough to generate static electricity, just like a summer thunderstorm, but in sub-freezing conditions. The snow itself dampens the sound of the thunder, giving it an eerie, subterranean quality. The combination of these elements created a truly surreal experience. The brilliant, silent fall of snowflakes was punctuated by sudden, blinding flashes of lightning, illuminating the winter wonderland in a startling, momentary burst of light. It was a sensory paradox, the quiet peace of a snowfall, married to the violent energy of a thunderstorm. The event was a beautiful and bizarre reminder that nature's rulebook is complex, and that, given the right set of circumstances, even the most predictable climates can produce a spectacle of profound and wonderful strangeness. And so, our journey through a decade of nature's most formidable moments comes to a close. We have witnessed the awesome power of ice and water, the fury of the earth and the sky. These events, captured on video, are more than just dramatic clips for our entertainment. They are windows into the true character of our planet. They remind us that beneath the veneer of our structured world, there lies a force that is wild, untamed, and magnificently powerful. It is a force that commands not fear, but a deep and profound respect. These moments serve as a vital perspective check. They show us the grand scale on which the world operates, a scale of geological time and atmospheric energy that dwarfs our own brief existence. In watching a glacier calve or a volcano erupt, we are humbled. We are reminded that we are part of a much larger, more complex system, and that our own survival depends on understanding and coexisting with these immense natural forces. It is a lesson in humility, written in lightning and fire, in wind and in water. That is the end of this video. Let me know if you want to see more videos like this one, and I'll see you guys again very, very soon. Later, the Earth will continue to put on its grand displays, and as long as there are people there to witness them, we will continue to be awestruck by its power and its beauty. For it is in these moments of raw, natural drama that we feel most connected to the planet we call home.